Hi, it's Sean from Eat, Drink, Stay Dubai here. Just going to show you the My Emirates Pass that has just been released for this summer. It's a good way to save a lot of money on many places around Dubai if you're an Emirates passenger. If you are flying Emirates between the 1st of May and 30th of September 24, basically you use your Emirates boarding pass to save at spas, restaurants, big name stores. Some of the places in it include at the top Burj Khalifa, Palm Monorail, View at the Palm, City Sightseeing, Aquaventure, IMG World's Adventure, Dubai Parks and Resorts. So what I'll do, I'll take you through how this works. I'll highlight some of the ones that could be of interest, and I'll give you, at the end of the video, I'll give you my comments and tips for how to get the best value, so keep watching to the end. Do like and subscribe to the channel. So without further ado, let's have a look. So this link will be in the description to this page. First of all, I just want to show you the bottom of the web page. I'll come to the offers last. So this is on the Emirates website. Do have a look at the terms and conditions. As always, I always say validate the deal. Know the rules, know the terms and conditions, because that's the way to make these things work for you. You can have a look to say, can the boarding pass be used for a group? Can it be used more than once? Blah blah blah. Everything's here. First thing I would say, it does work with boarding passes that are electronic, but they do recommend that you take a photograph of it, a screenshot on your phone, just for backup. If you've got a paper pass, that's still okay, but just be aware that sometimes you can put these things in your wallet on your phones and they can disappear, and that boarding pass is the only way that you're going to get these deals. Okay, so that's that point made, I think. So when we come to the offers, what you need to consider is there's 4 categories: dining experience, mind and body, leisure, retail and shopping. You can click here to drop down by the areas. You can go to Abu Dhabi, for instance. It's not just necessarily Dubai. You can go to Jebel Ali, Yas Island, Ras Al Khaimah. So it isn't just Dubai. These are the activities, so they're all listed here. A comment about the website: it can be quite slow, which you will see as we do continue through this video. So if we start with retail and shopping, this, for instance, is much of a muchness. I know a lot of people like shopping in Dubai, but it's really a question of is the shop in your area that you're going to, or is it a particular brand that you might fancy, like Birkenstock. Next point about the offers: each one can vary. So one might be a certain percentage discount, one might be a certain level of spend. They're not necessarily all the same. You can find out more by clicking on the link on each thumbnail, whatever you want to call it, section. That will take you to the official website of the merchant. It can get a bit confusing later on, but if you also always look at the top section here, and it will tell you the name of the merchant. So this, for instance, is again much of a muchness. I'm not going to go through the shopping thing. The only thing I would say is sometimes it can take a while to load the offers. So if you're in a rush, perhaps do it this way. Look in activities and just scroll down that way. They're all the shopping offers. So again, I think they're the weakest part of the offer. Next up we have mind and body, perhaps the second weakest, but horses for courses, they might work for you. So for instance here, they're generally listed by the title. So this comes up as One Rebel DIFC, so that's in alphabetical order. Then you've got Adam Vital Hospital. Where it does get a little confusing is the name of the outlet, in this case, let's say Beatitude Spa, is actually Grosvenor House in the marina. So just remember that when you're searching, it's this bit that you're searching for, okay? So if, for instance, you want to look in the areas, you then have to know that such a spa is at such a hotel in such an area. So just bear that in mind. And again, like I said earlier, you just scroll through you've got dental clinics, you've got all sorts in this, fitness centres, spas. So what you'll find is you'll get so far. And again, there isn't the pop-up here because there's not that many spa offers really. The bulk of the offers are in the other two categories. So that's retail and shopping done, that's mind and body done. So leisure, I would say, is perhaps the most profitable section for tourists at least. Now again, what we've got here is we've got a little bit of confusion because the title is 1 hour marina tour, 90-minute guided tour, but the merchant is at the top, which begins with X. So what that means is exclusive here might be in a few different places. So this is why I recommend using the search activities. Yeah, it just saves looking for them all. What you've got to bear in mind with attractions, a lot of them sound very generic. So for instance, when you're talking about the cruises, you've got different areas and you've got different boat types. So what I'm going to try and do now, I'm going to try and flick through very quickly to give you a few things that could be worth looking at. Exclusive boats are quite good. What I do recommend is when you find somewhere that you might be interested in, take the name of the merchant, for instance here, Exclusive Boats Charter, then go off-site to somewhere like TripAdvisor, Google Maps, type that in, and look at things like reviews. Just be aware, in Dubai there's a lot of blagging going on reviews and things like this that might be a bit spurious, so perhaps do things like just do a search on Google as well as Google Maps and TripAdvisor, so you get a bit of confidence really about whether this provider is any good. So as we scroll down, you've got Al Shindaga Museum, which is good for a bit of history. You've got Atlantis Dubai. Now notice, this is a biggie. 20% discount on general admission. Okay, so that is probably one that's going to be attractive to a lot of people. You've got at the top Burj Khalifa. You've got Arabian Adventures, 15% off Arabian Adventures. What I'd say with Arabian Adventures is these are linked with Emirates, part of the Emirates group. They're one of the better providers for things like Desert Safari, so maybe worth looking. You'll probably see the adverts when you're on the Emirates flights, on the in-flight entertainment. At the top, Burj Khalifa. This is a good example of having to read the offer sometimes, because you get a 20% discount on the top 124, 125 during peak and off peak, but then at the top Sky on peak hours and the lounge tickets. So just be careful that depending which one you want to go to, if you go in at peak hours or off peak, you'll only get the discount, for instance, at top 124, 125 during off peak. You won't get the discount on top Sky. Just a little thing. Next, you've got things like beach access, day passes. This is 20% off the day vacation package, breakfast, lunch provided. Again, you've got Adagio Palm. This is just beach access, but this is fully redeemable on F&B. So you get 20% off the cost of doing that, and you get your food and beverage redeemable. There are a lot of beach passes available in Dubai, so don't feel that you have to get this one. But again, 20% and with fully redeemable, this could be a good option if your hotel doesn't have beach access. Got Big Red Adventure Tours. Here we go with the cruises: Sightseeing Cruise, Black Pearl, Al Faris, Canal Cruise, Desert Safaris, Dinner, City Sightseeing. I would suggest is good for people, especially first timers to Dubai, because the layout can confuse a lot of people and it can be quite linear and sporadically developed compared to what some people may be used to. So to save shuttling around everywhere in a taxi, you can just get on something like this and hop on, hop off as you want to go. Do check the maps on the website, of course, by clicking on the Find Out More. Dubai Creek Dow Cruise, there's loads of them. Canal, Dolphin Bay at Atlantis, can be good if you're into the dolphins, that is. Deep Dive Dubai, scuba divers, quite popular. Dubai Aquarium, Dubai Canal Abra Tour, I'm not going to do every one of these. Dubai Opera, again, good example. This is only the tour ticket. It's not actually 20% off the actual opera tickets. You've got the 380 flight simulator is good. Haiti on an Abra, escape rooms, luxury transport, car hire, golf, JA Resort. I think the L's is in here, and Alhambra. Green Planet is good, I think, a bit different. Heli Dubai, IMG Worlds of Adventures, Jay's Flight, Jebel Jay's. For adventure junkies, that's quite good. Inside Burj Al Arab Tour, 15%. Kidzania is good for kids. La Pearl, Legoland, Water Park. Again, look at this, luxury Dubai Canal Cruise, luxury private yacht. Obviously everything is luxury in Dubai, isn't it? So they say. Marina Sightseeing, Marina Royal Dinner, Madame Tussauds, Motion Gate, Palm Monorail, Sky Views, up at Address Sky Views for the Edge experience. Could be interesting to some people. More golf, Alhambra, tennis, Dubai Balloon at Atlantis, the Elves Club. Yellow boats, I'd definitely recommend having a look at this. View at the Palm. Wild Wadi, note that that's 30%, Aquaventure was only 20%, but then Aquaventure's a better water park in my opinion. X-Line Dubai. So that is the leisure. I think that is perhaps interest for most people. Dining experiences. Again, this is unfortunately you're going to have to slog through it because it's not always easy to find somewhere that you might want to go unless you know the name, in which case you can search by the activities, or you can just search by the areas. So if for instance we was to say Dubai Marina, let's just shortlist this. Right, so this is all around Dubai Marina. So let's have a look what's in Dubai Marina on this offer. Accents, Baba Steakhouse, Barasti. This is my home basically. 20% discount food and beverage. Now it excludes tobacco and shisha, special offers and packages. So you're not really going to be able to do this if there's for instance happy hours and things like that on, or promotions or whatever. But as always, do your due diligence. Sometimes it can be worth speaking with venues beforehand, just saying, you know, just to save disappointment at the point of delivery. You've got some decent places here. El Sur, Mumbai Pasola, Observatory Bar and Grill, Sumaya, Croft. Again, it's a little bit hard to suss all these places out sometimes because you see the venue name and then the property, for instance, the Meridian Mina Sahai. So I'd recommend that you either do a search by activities or perhaps a search by areas, because otherwise you're just going to have to slog through. Now when you slog through and you scroll down, every now and again the website might slow down a little bit and you've got to press the little button at the bottom, to expand. But you can find some really good places in here. Let's prove it. So you've got fish is worth a pop. I'm not here to be a restaurant critic or anything, but I'd say places like Fagira sometimes go under the radar. A good rooftop churrascaria, Delta Hotels down in the marina. Again, just be aware sometimes that these might not necessarily all come listed in the same order, so you might have several outlets, but because they're generally listed by the outlet name, not the hotel, they might not necessarily be all together. Now what I mean by that is we've got JDW Marriott Marquis here, and it's showing one venue, but I believe there's other venues, but they're not adjacent. Can you see on the listing? Because these are all A's. Oh, that makes sense. I don't know if I made it very clear or not, so I'll probably say it again as we get further down. So if we scoot down here, that's a good example of what I'm saying. See JDW Marriott Marquis, kitchen 6 is way down, a third of the way down because it's under the K's. So do have a good look round, and again you'll see sometimes it's the 25% discount, like kitchen 25, 20% here, 30% Chris with a view. Palazzo Versace often has some decent deals in, so do consider that place if the taste isn't too much for you, that is. So anyway, I'm not going to go through everywhere. So right, so on to my opinions on this, my comments. I think the most important thing to start with is you need to weigh up any deal in Dubai. You really do, because this might seem grand, but a deal is only a deal if it's of value to you because it's something that is either attractive or that you're already entitled to. Now what I mean by that is if you're flying on Emirates between these dates, 1st of May, 31st September, you've already booked your tickets, it's a no-brainer to use this package for deals, because it's not costing you any money, it'll save you money. But be aware that because it's the summer and because of devaluations and the economy and all the many other factors, I actually don't think these deals this year are as good as what they were in the one that's just finished, shall we call it the winter season one. So the Dubai summer is a big factor in what merchants might be in. For instance, MMI, the alcohol merchants were in it, and I think A&E used to be in it, African and Eastern. They were 10 and 20%. So that for Brits, for instance, that might like a drink in the room, if they've sucked all the duty free, they used to offer good value, but they're not in it this time. I think some of the biggies are still in it, but some of the packages are also a little bit more restrictive. I still think it's a fantastic offer, I really do, and I would urge, if you haven't booked with Emirates, consider doing so to get this, but just be aware that you might be paying more for your flights on Emirates to get this, if that makes sense. So don't necessarily go and pay double the price to get on Emirates to get this, unless you know that which merchants you've got your strategy lined up, you've got your itinerary lined up, and you know that you're going to use and save X amount of pounds. I can't stress that enough with Dubai because it gets a bit overwhelming with all the offers, but the main thing to think about is it is the summer. Now some of these merchants might be winding down over the summer. If you're looking at a water park, for instance, some of the rides might be getting maintained. I'm not trying to be negative, I'm just trying to be realistic to say, just factor these things in. It's not too bad if you're going in May, perhaps early June, and let's say September, because the season starts again in September, things start opening up, the weather's still a little bit peaky, but from the mid-September onwards it's not that bad. But if you're going in July and August, it's scorcher. Bear that in mind when you're looking at these outdoor activities. They might be restricted, they might not be operating all through the day, you might just not feel like doing it if it's too hot. So just bear that in mind. Secondly, I have mentioned that there's a lot of competition in Dubai for your money. So there's similar deals to these elsewhere. So the entertainer is the obvious one. So factor in whether 20% discount off a meal, for instance, is a better deal than maybe buy one get one free with the entertainer. The entertainer probably has far more merchants in. It's probably far easier to use because it pays for itself. You don't have to be stuck with being on an Emirates passenger then if you get a better deal on a flight. There's also things like more cravings, doing 2-for-1s and discounts. So this is just one thing. I think it's an excellent opportunity, but as always, whether it works for you will depend on where you want to go and what type of customer you are. Are you already flying on Emirates, or are you maybe a bit flexible to look at other carriers? would you, for instance, be swayed to go in on Emirates just to get this? I think even if Emirates were £200 more on a flight, maybe, you could perhaps easily get £200 of value back. I think you could get a lot more value if you were very strategic about it. So just do your homework. That's the big thing with deals in Dubai. Finally, I can't stress enough about summer in Dubai. July and August, even the locals go to Europe. So if you're there and you're committed to trying to find value, if it's outdoor activities and if you're going to be out in that sun, just think about the experience that you're going to get. I'm not trying to put you off, I'm just trying to say, if you're looking at Aquaventure, for instance, think about it could be worth checking if reading reviews, seeing if it's any sort of rides might be restricted at some of the resorts. It could, these things are factors. I don't want to be negative, but I also don't want to say the experience that you'll get in the middle of July in Dubai everywhere across the board is the same that you'll get in October and November. It perhaps isn't. Particularly, and dare I stress, particularly with some of the lesser operators. So when you look at the merchants, if it's a tour for instance, this is why you need to do your due diligence, apologies. Particularly things like Desert Safari. You don't want to be out in the desert 2 hours before, 2 hours after 12 o'clock. You really don't in the middle of summer. You really don't want to be doing that. I can tell you that for nothing. But when you look at the merchants here, you've got a lot of merchants. I don't know how many, but most of them, particularly the dining ones, will be inside. So you'll still get a lot of good value, but just compare as well. Do compare these deals. For instance, if you're looking at things like the let's say the Burj Al Arab, for instance. The Burj Al Arab is a tour. They might not be doing the tours every hour of the day during the summer. So if you've got a packed itinerary, just really take a bit of a step back and think about how much time you're going to realistically have. Things like the golf, for instance, if that's at certain times of the day, the weather is a big factor, believe me. So try and stay inside if you are during the summer. Start looking for value and maybe even backup plans if you don't fancy doing something one day. It's too hot. Like say for instance you wanted to go golfing and you get up and it's scorching. You can always go to maybe somewhere like the 380 Emirates experience or something like that, or plenty. You go on the city sightseeing because the buses are air conditioning. The yachts won't be too bad if you can, keep yourself under cover. La Pearl, deep dive, plenty of things, but just bear that in mind. Anyway, that's me, I'm done. Any questions, comments, queries, please feel free to ask in the comments below. Please like, share this video, subscribe to the channel, follow, whatever you want to do. I'll put the link in for this Emirates pass. Thank you very much. All the best. Get onto them deals.